All right, y'all. Here we are back again. The Let's Talk the Better Black Life podcast. And today I got a very special guest. I'm going to let him introduce himself. I reach out to a lot of content creators, and most of them do not return my emails or however I try to contact them, Facebook or whatever. But this brother did. And so I wanted to bring him up and let him introduce himself. Brother Correy.
Yes, sir. How you doing? Can you hear me?
I can, brother. Right, man. I appreciate you jumping on the live stream.
For sure.
Let me just tell the people how I found you, brother. I found you because I was sitting at home and I was trying to think of something, man. One of my sons could do, extra income, man. And I start watching your videos, man, and I start saying, hey, man, this brother, you can tell when somebody talk like they've been through it, they got a lot of experience with it, and they got a good handle on something. And I saw that in your videos, man. I said, man, this brother need to be out there spreading the word, man. You know what I mean? So
right.
I said, I'm gonna contact the brother, and see if the brother would, and you did. I appreciate you, man, reaching back out to me, brother. But a little bit about I don't want to get a whole thing away. Why don't you tell the people, what you, who you are and what you're about, brother?
Yeah, of course. Okay, so for anybody that don't know, I started in the business about 5 years ago. Kind of like everybody else, wanting to just do something for myself, start my own business. So when I went to school and everything like that, when I came up with that was always my goal, was to do it for myself. So just a little bit of background. My name's Correy. You might recognize me as I'm Comos if you into trucking videos and stuff like that. The channel, I always had a YouTube channel. It didn't start off as trucking videos, but that's the only content I could have really create, while I was going, because I did, leave and go to trucking school. So I went to CR England. They're the first person I call. I know, we can talk about this trucking company, that trucking company, but CR England was the first company that I ever reached out to, and I just went for it. So they put me on a bus. I went to Salt Lake City, and that's where I got my start at CR England. So I had a 9-month contract, stayed there with them, and then I kind of like started going in my own direction from that point. I'm based out of Georgia. This is where I started everything at. We can talk about in a minute. We're going to talk about how the step-by-step process, but just a little bit of background on like how I got started. That's basically what I did. I just jumped out there and said that I was going to do it. And I went to CDL school with my CDL permit. That way it didn't take me long. I was in a truck driving within 2 weeks. When I got to school, they put me in a truck, and that's how it all started. It started from that point. So,
okay, brother Correy, let's slow down, brother, because we don't know what you're talking about, brother. So we're gonna slow it down.
Okay.
And first, let's talk about this. What made you decide about trucking? I mean, you're a very intelligent brother. You probably could have made a lot of money in a lot of different areas. What made you decide about trucking, man?
Well, my uncle was a truck driver, and I saw what he was doing and everything like that. But just like you said, I was looking, just having a entrepreneurial like mindset. I wanted to do something that I can start my own, and trucker was one of those things that was fascinating to me, because it was a way to build your own, and and it's a very lucrative business, and just with that, in that industry alone. That's what really got me into it. Nothing other than that. I knew my peoples around me, they drove trucks and stuff like that, and I sold cars for 7 years. So after that, I found like it was time for a change. So and just having that freedom, that's another thing about it too, because like if we go back to like talking about selling cars, that was kind of a freedom thing, because I'm a salesperson. I had to, if I don't sell a car, I don't make no money type of thing. So I always had like the entrepreneurial like mindset to get something started on my own, and then I just lean it towards trucking. So
when you got into trucking,
Mhm.
what did your family say? I mean, what did they think about you being in trucking? Well, put it like this: Did you have a family at the time, or were you just
Yeah.
single? Or?
Yeah, well, I was actually, you know, I'm married, so I was supposed to start trucking before I actually started, but when I originally was supposed to go, my son was only like 1 or 2 years old, and so the decision for me to just leave, because it still was kind of the same setup when I left to go. It was still kind of the same setup. Like I had to go, off to truck driving school, and then they keep me out there, over the road, getting OTR experience. So, I would have been gone from, my family for a while, but by my son being so little, I decided to put it off, and that put me back into the car business for a period of time until he got a little older, and then, I decided to go once he got like, around. A little bit, from five. He was about 10 when I left, so he's a little older then, and I decided to go ahead and get it started. But as far as my parents and stuff like that, they didn't like it because they know, just from experiencing what my uncle went through, like being gone, and it's a dangerous business at that, accidents and stuff like that, because they looked at what happened to him. He did get into a trucking accident, and they didn't want that to happen to me. They weren't looking at or cared about the business side of it. They just was like, no.
Right, right,
So
right. Hold on, hold on, brother Corey, because this channel's so small, we can talk to the people that's actually
yeah,
chiming
yeah.
in. Brother
Okay.
JD, how are you guys doing? We're fine, brother. We blessed. We're able to, sit here and talk about how, to get some money into y'all's pockets. If y'all interested in this trucking business, I got the perfect person here for it. So just sit tight, man, and stay tuned. This brother's gonna drop some jewels, man. And really, you need to go. I'm gonna drop his channel later on, man, because you really need, if you're really serious about not only trucking but just entrepreneur, business-minded people, man, this is a brother you need to go and sign up on his channel, man. Very, very, a lot of good content on this channel.
Yeah,
Okay,
appreciate it.
brother. So we were at the point where your family was having issues with you going out on the road because of the dangers
Mhm,
involved. Now, what are some of the dangers involved besides trucking accidents? I mean, that's obvious, but what are
mhm.
some of the other drawbacks to being gone from your family and all of that? What are some of the drawbacks, brother?
A lot of the drawbacks is like if you got, especially for those of us that got a family, and you're taking care of business at home. You got, your kids got to have a place to stay. You got rent or mortgage or whatever,
Right,
car payments. When I
right,
when I went, I had those things already. So I had to make sure my bills got paid and all that type of stuff. But for a lot of the younger guys, it's really easier for you, if you wish to go and you don't have those type of responsibilities. Those things are a little bit easier. But the toughest thing for me was, being going away from my son, and him missing that time and stuff, because I was gone for Christmases and Thanksgivings and those type of things like that. But also
right.
too, the winter months, I would say that the dangers of the weather and driving out there in those type of conditions is probably the most serious thing, especially being brand new, never driving in the snow, and now you're, driving a big 18 wheeler in the snow and all this other type of
Right.
stuff. The living conditions, like, you're not going to get the healthiest food. Um, you know, yeah, and then they team you with another partner. So at times, if you with a less experienced driver, that you have to yourself brand new, but have to kind of like train them as long as is with you for safety purposes. You trying to be in the back sleeping in the truck. It's just a never the route that I took, it was a never ending thing. That truck was constantly moving, 7
Okay.
days a week, at
Wow.
most times. So 7 days a week. But at some point, once the hours of service, that's another topic. But once that ran out, that's the only thing that actually give you a break, is when
Right.
you run out of hours to drive that truck, because these companies, like, they're gonna run you to that last hour, and they want that truck to be moving, making them money like every hour, every day. And
Okay.
that can be tough. No sleep. You're not getting the proper rest, you're not getting the proper food, you're away from your family, you're away for holidays.
Right.
So it's a sacrifice for sure. It's definitely a sacrifice.
Do you think it was worth it, brother, in your case?
It was worth it for me because, like I said, that was to get to where I'm at now, and I still feel like I'm still scratching the surface on the potential to where I can go. But right now, it led me to this point to where I'm home with my family. You know, I'm doing my own thing. I call the shots and all that stuff. But that was always my goal getting into it. So I didn't, even though, like, when you get into it, like, the pay is not great either. So that's another con about it. I was making maybe $400 a week sometime, and that's
Wow.
barely covering rent and
Right.
car payments and stuff like that. So but that right there, I knew that was a sacrifice because I had a better goal, and I took everything into consideration all the way to the point that where I knew that I was only going to be with that particular company for 9 months, and then once my contract was up, I was going to get out of there, because a lot of people they would renege on the contract. They be in the contract and they'll say, forget it, I'm out. But I knew that I was starting a business, so I didn't want to do anything that was going to jeopardize them trying to put anything on my credit or any of
Right.
that type of stuff. So I stuck it out. I knew it was a sacrifice. I stuck it out, and when my contract was done, I fulfilled my obligations, and then I started the next chapter. So
Wow, man. Wow.
mhm.
When you when you sign, okay, so you start out working for a company, and was it because, like, at my job, they'll pay for you to go to school, but you got to sign a thing saying you're gonna stay for 4 years or whatever, right?
Mhm.
So
Right.
was it a similar type thing at the
Yeah.
trucking school you went to? Okay.
Similar
And
type of thing.
okay, and so you got to stay for 9 months, right?
Mhm.
Drive for them,
Right.
and you have to have a certain amount of hours in those 9 months of driving.
No. Starting out, right? I believe the course was like $4,000 or something like that. It's a lot of ways. People know, people who's doing research and stuff like that, they know that they can go to a technical college and all of these things. But the way that I did it, I knew that if I would have went to a technical college, I still would have had to go to a trucking school anyway. Because you still got to get hired to a company, because you can go to trucking school, get a CDL, but no one's going to hire you if you don't have any experience. So that's why
Oh,
I felt like going that route, I would get the training, I would get the experience that I needed, and I wouldn't have to pay for it out of pocket if I stayed the 9 months. So essentially, it all worked out because I got to go to school, I got to get the experience that I needed, and then when it was all said and done, I didn't owe nobody anything. And
oh.
yeah, so I was able to, start my business and start on the path that I wanted to go with kind of a clean slate. I didn't owe nobody anything. So
So you mean you went to trucking school company? You went to trucking school and didn't have to pay anything for it?
I didn't have to pay anything. Only thing that I really was responsible for is food. Like I say, they put me on the bus from Savannah to Salt Lake City on a Greyhound bus. Took me 2-3 days to get there, something like that. And then once I got there, I was in the room with two, like, it was two on this side. I think 8 people. They had
Okay,
4 bunk beds in there, right? So they
okay,
provided a place for us to stay while we was in training and stuff like that. And of course, after I took the CDL test, I was on the truck with my trainer, and I stayed with him for like a month. So I stayed with my trainer for a month, and then they threw me out there and gave me a partner. And
okay.
we did teams for 6 months, and then I became a trainer. So they that school, they let in it. I would consider myself still inexperienced with only 6 months, and I'm out here training other people how to drive, barely knowing how to get around myself. So but I made it through. I didn't have any accidents, and I didn't experience any of those type of things. But it got me to where I'm at. So
Okay, so you're training 6 months in, and you're out there now. You
mhm,
said after 9 months you were on your own, or driving by yourself. Now, were
mhm.
you still having to work for another company, or did you have your own business at that point, or what was the deal?
Yeah, so at 9 months, when I because I knew that I was leaving, so I took vacation at 9 months, and then I just told them that I wasn't coming back. So what I did was I wanted to do my own thing from that point forward. So I went out there and I got a truck from a leasing company, and they had a couple companies that I can take the truck to, because you couldn't just take the truck to anybody, because that truck payment was going to come out of your paycheck or your settlement or whatever. And at 9 months, when I left CR England, I went to a company called Western Express, and
Okay.
I had a lease truck from Quality Leasing, and I had that truck for 1 month. so as soon as I got the truck, I went to Western Express, leased the truck on with them, and then I was out there, and I felt like I accomplished something, because now I felt like I got my own truck.
Okay.
And now I'm about to start making it. I'm about to start making it on my own, but it didn't quite work out that way.
Hold on, bro, Corey. Some of us are slow, so we gotta get it. So when you went out and you leased your own truck, that was like you being able to negotiate your own freight and carry your own freight and make your pretty much work your own hours and sign up for what you want. Is that what you're saying?
Well, not at that time, but kind of, sort of. But the company that I went to, it wasn't quite that way. They were still dispatching me, basically. So
okay.
It was kind of the same, but they still was picking the loads and all that stuff for me. The truck, I was just responsible for the truck payment and the maintenance and all of this of the truck. But I was getting a percentage of the loads, because basically I was leased on to them. So I was just getting a percentage. I think like 75% of the loads and stuff like that. And be careful with that too. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this, because it's important that if a company don't want to show you the rate confirmation of what that load is actually paying, they skimming from you. So so just to put that out there. So that was kind of like the situation, not knowing. I was just out there, not knowing, not with much guidance or stuff like that. I was just trying stuff. And that's why we're here right now, because I've experienced things to tell you guys, to keep you from going down some of the paths I went down that didn't work out for me.
So now you leasing your own truck, right?
Yep.
But like you said, you're under a certain company, because the leasing company is only going to let you lease that truck through a certain company, right? So you're only going to you're getting your dispatched order. You're being dispatched. We're not at the point where you can go to any person and buy it. Right now, you're just working through this company, Western Express, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, how was that going at that point?
It wasn't going good at all. I picked up my first load and I ran up into like the Delaware area. And then from there, they sent down to Florida, Winter Haven, Florida. And then I was basically stuck down there. They was telling me that they didn't have any loads, any freight to get out of there, which was concerning, because like I said, I'm leasing this truck, and these lease payments is weekly. I think this truck payment was like $1,200 a week. So if I'm not running loads, I can't afford the truck payment. So that's what happened. When it came time for my settlement to come, I didn't have anything. It was like $300, $400. So I didn't stay there long at all, maybe a month, and then I was out of there. So,
man. So what did you do after that, brother?
So once I decided that I couldn't afford the truck, I took it back. And they have it set up so this happens all the time. So if you wanted to turn a lease in, all you had to do is take it to a TA. So I took the truck to a TA truck stop and told them that I was going to be
using it anymore. Brother Corey. Wait a minute, brother Corey. We don't know what a TA is, brother.
Sorry. Right? A TA is it's a
class we had in high school. That's a class we had in high school.
I got you. So TA it's just the name of a truck stop. It's a travel center that you'll see them on the side of the roads. If you're on interstates and stuff like that, you know how you got Loves, Pilot, Flying J's. TA's is it's a big name truck stop. They do truck repair, truck services and maintenance and stuff like that. But they're everywhere. It's just a travel center. Like it's not just for trucks either. It's for anybody that's traveling on the interstates and stuff like that. If you want to take a shower, they have showers, they have food, stuff like that. So
Okay.
mhm.
Okay. So
So
you could take your truck to this place.
drop it off if you ain't want it. So that's what I did. I took it there, drop it off, and then from that point, I had to find a job. So
Okay.
I called up a company that was in Dalton, Georgia, by the name of Rosedale, and I told them that I got this amount of experience. At this point, I think I had only 10 months experience, 11 months, not even a year yet. But I went back company driving.
Okay.
So there, I went back company driver for this company called Rosedale out of Dalton, Georgia, and I stayed there for a couple of years.
Okay.
So,
okay. Now, in a time where you're staying at, you're working at Rosewood, you still had the goal in mind was to own your own business, right?
right. The goal
Okay.
was to own my own business, but at this time I have to get capital up. I have to
All right.
learn the business and stuff like that. So working there, I was able to make good money. I started making about $1,100 a week. So now I got a decent income to come in, enough to where that I can afford my bills and start putting stuff to the side.
Right.
Start working on making sure I'm getting debt paid down so my credit can get stronger and all this type of stuff. So those are the things that I was doing to make sure that when it's time, I'll have all the necessary things that I need to apply for certain things. So I think after about I want to say after about a year being company driver, I told Rosedale that I was about to leave because I thought that I was ready to get back out there and do my own thing. And they offered me a great opportunity to buy a truck from them. So
Okay.
they offered me the opportunity to buy a truck from them. It's kind of like a walkaway lease. Basically, it's like they have a truck. The truck was $50,000, and they were going to just deduct the truck payments out of my settlement every single week. And and if I kept the truck for the full term, I will own the truck outright. They would give me the title to the truck. But at any time that I felt like I wanted to leave, or I felt like that it wasn't working out, I can always turn the truck back in, and I wouldn't have to owe anything. Of course, I would forfeit all the money that they was taking out of my check or whatever, which was no problem because I did use the truck to make money. But they was very fair. They showed me the rate confirmation. I could have owned that truck outright if I wanted to, but at some point I felt like, I'm about to take it to another level. Because at that point I did start making real decent money. I started making when I started leasing the truck with them, I went from making $1,100-$1,200 to about $2,000-$2,300 a week. So the truck payment was about $500 a week. So I was clearing a decent paycheck, every single week, which was is what definitely catapulted me into the funds and stuff that I needed to take it to that next level again. So
okay, brother Corey. So now you're leasing the truck from them. You had a walkaway lease. At the point where now you're working on your own?
Well, yeah, right now I can run my own loads and stuff like this, but now the next step that I took was to leave Rosedale. I wanted to my issue with Rosedale, it wasn't really an issue, but at this point I was only coming home on the weekends. So I still was kind of like over the road kind of. Not really, but I was just doing regional stuff, but I still felt like I wanted to be home more. And that was kind of like one of the main reasons why I decided to give the truck back. And this would make me go purchase my own truck, finance it. That way, it's no giving the truck back. It's like, buying a car or whatever. It's like, the truck is mine, right? I financed it. And now this is my truck. Also, too, with Rosedale, I had to stay with them. I had to, in order for me to own the truck, I would have to stay with them until the lease agreement was up, and then I could have took the truck and take it anywhere that I wanted. But if I wanted to leave sooner, I couldn't leave. I would have had to give the truck back and then go my own way, which led me to finance my own truck. So now if I lease it on to whoever, I can take my truck and go wherever I want to go. You know, I'm not tied to no company. I can do what I want to do with my truck. If I didn't want to work that day or whatever, you know, that's when I started making my own decisions to be home when I wanted to be home. And then I didn't really have to, you know, go by no other guidelines of a company. So
now when you decided to do that, were you scared, brother? Were you just step out on that ledge? You know, how did you feel about
that? Not really, because when I went to finance the truck, the payments was cheaper, right? Because like I was paying about $2,000, over $2,000 a month for the Rosedale truck. But then when I went to go finance my truck, I got a payment in the $1,300 range for 3 years. So I knew that, you know, I wasn't gonna have the payment that long. So, but I didn't get my authority quite yet. What I did play it more on the safer side, which was I leased the truck onto another company here in my city and started doing port container work with it, which was very consistent work. I didn't have to worry about, you know, how I was going to pay the truck payment or how I was going to pay my bills. Working there by leasing that truck on first allowed me to set everything up that I needed to start my authority, which was start my business name, start building business credit, and all of this stuff while my truck was leased on to a carrier, because I can take my truck at any point. So I made sure I got the tags and registration for my truck in my name, not in the company name.
Right.
And then once I've done all of that, then I was ready. I was ready to start my own trucking authority, because at this point you're already a business. Because a lot of people don't know that you could, just because you lease your truck onto someone, you can start a whole business. So I encourage everybody to start their LLC right now. If that's your goal, go ahead and start it right now, so that LLC can get some age on it. You know, you can be established in business longer. You can start building business credit and all this stuff. And your truck can be leased onto another carrier and have that carrier pay your business name. Well,
I got a quick question, bro, Corey. So when the truck was leased onto another carrier, were you still driving it, or was somebody else driving the vehicle?
I was still driving.
Okay.
I still drive now. So, but yeah. So, but instead now, my company is leased onto that carrier, not me directly. So, so now all of the money that I make, it goes into my business name, and so now I'm getting business funding, you know, and not getting paid directly. So that was the first step. That was the easiest way to, now you can do whatever you want to do, especially when you go off into getting your own authority and all this stuff. My business at this time is now not all the way, but it's already established. I already have an established LLC, and I've already been operating in business for over a year and these type of things. So that allowed me to have an easier platform or foundation built to go build from that point, you know.
Now, when I hear you say an authority, what's an authority? What does that mean?
A trucking authority is so, you know, like how we talked about being leased on to other carriers and stuff, right?
Correct.
The difference is, when you lease your truck onto a carrier, you can only pull that carrier's freight. Whatever loads they got available for you, those are the loads that you have available. You can't pull for another company. You can't do anything else but pull that company's loads. You still work for yourself. You're independent contractor. It's your truck. But when you lease on to that carrier, you're under their insurance. You're under their operating agreement. And you have to pull their loads. So once you branch off into that next step with getting your own authority, now the doors is open. I can work for anybody, any big name trucking company you see out there, Landstar, C.H. Robinson, Snyder, whoever. I can pull anybody freight. It doesn't matter, because I have my own operating trucking authority, and the DOT sees you as a operating carrier. So now you are a trucking carrier, and you can get your own loads, book your own freight, get your own clients, get your own shippers, get your own receivers. You are totally, fully, you know, operating independently. So,
okay. So that's what a trucking authority is when you.
That's what a trucking authority is, right?
Okay, you can just pull any load for anybody at
Yep.
any time. Okay,
That's the only difference actually with leasing your truck onto a carrier and getting your own authority. You're not just capped or limited to that carrier's freight. You can pull. So just imagine if you got your own authority, imagine how many thousands of other opportunities and loads that you can pull because you can work for pretty much anybody, anybody that has freight available.
right.
Mhm.
And so, did you know about having a trucking authority, or did you have to find that out by working in the business, or how did you find out about all of that?
I found out about all of that basically just doing YouTube videos. And a lot of
Wow.
times, when you talking on YouTube and you saying stuff, people leave comments and stuff. So it's kind of like at some big time truck drivers, especially the ones that had their own operating authority, they look at drivers that have their truck leased on as not being an owner operator. So it's like this big thing in that community to where they try to talk down on truck drivers and people that don't fully have their own operating authority. They'll feel like, oh well, you're not a real trucker and all this other type of stuff, which is clearly not the case at all. But
Right.
but I did want full control. So when I started researching this owner operator thing or this or having your own authority thing, that's when I started really understanding exactly what it was. It's having the ability, like I said, to work for anybody you want and do whatever you want. You're not obligated to a carrier. And also, I didn't want any. If I wanted to take off of work, I didn't want to owe a carrier for a truck payment or insurance or anything like that. Now I could take off work or not do anything, and I don't owe nobody nothing. I could just take off work and come back when I get ready. It's not like I
Right.
come back and have like any deductions that's due for insurance because I owe the carrier money for my tag plates, and all this other type of stuff or fuel that I use, different little things like that. So once I figured out what an operating authority was, I was like, that's what I wanted to do. And then I figured out that you can build a whole business around it. You can get more trucks. You can do pretty
Wow.
much whatever you wanted to do with having that type of, established. But with having that already established with the authority, you can do whatever you want. Like you can branch off into uh, so many different things. It's so many different ways to make money in trucking. Like it's unbelievable. Like from dispatching to um, freight forwarding, all type of different ways. Some people I talk to, they start businesses. They don't even have a CDL. They just have the money to invest in a truck and put a driver in it and those type of things. So by having an operating authority of your own, you have full control over those type of decisions if you want, to use that as a source of way to make money. So
Okay. Okay.
mhm,
So you get your trucking authority. You're able to
mhm,
work for yourself.
mhm.
When did you realize that you had made that was a good decision? When did it occur to you that this is popping, man?
It occurred to me when the freedom that I experienced by being my own boss or having my own trucking authority. That's when I really knew this is exactly what I want to do. I'm exactly where I want to be because I don't have to answer to no one. And that was the biggest thing for me. I didn't have to tell somebody I need the day off or anything like that. So once I was able to um, handle all my business, save money, start investing money, and all this other different type of stuff. That's when I knew exactly, I'm in the right business. And also, too, recognizing the potential, of being able to expand this into a multi-million-dollar business,
Right.
just by having the right foundation. I felt like I'm doing the right thing. I can easily do it. It's not stressful. Having to worry about all these different things, and I
Right.
didn't want nothing that was time consuming and stressful just to make money. So having the freedom to relax, make money at the same time, and you have the potential to scale it however big you want, or stay however small you want. Because sometimes my goal is not to be like the biggest, because that's when a lot of reliability start to come in place. I want to stay in a real good area, when I
Right.
do start to expand into all these different things. And that's definitely a preference thing. So some people want to be huge, want to be real big. And some
Right.
people just want to be real comfortable and real free,
Right.
and that's kind of like, I want to kind of play the middle of that. So,
Man, so how long do you think it was before when you decided to get on that Greyhound bus and you were able to realize that you got your trucking authority and everything, and you were making enough money to where now you don't have to sweat about everything? How long do you think that period of time was?
that period of time, that was when I really got to Rosedale. So I would say about a year and a half. By the time a year and a half have passed, I was with Rosedale making good money. But I still, like I said, at that point, I didn't have to worry about my bills and stuff like that, because I was making enough to afford, my lifestyle, and take care of my kids, and pay the bills and all this stuff. So that was good. But now I had to work on getting my time back. So that's where I had to, because at this point I was making money, right? Driving truck, but I still wasn't home.
That time.
I still had to drive, regional over the road and stuff like that. So now that I'm able to afford, my bills and, save money, and, kind of be, I'm a little comfortable at this point because I'm not in need of money because we making money, but I still have to find a way to be able to get more money, not because of course I want to do better. So not just get the same thing. I would have been comfortable with, if I was making the same money and at home too, I would have settled for that temporarily. But I still knew at the end of the day I wanted to be more than that. But how could I get home, be home, and make more money? And trucking, it honestly allowed me to do that because, like I said, so many ways you can expand the business, or so many different areas you can work in this business and still make money, then definitely being just a truck driver that's over the road 24/7. So,
man, now, brother, I got a question for you. It's kind of off the subject, but it's on the subject. I've seen a lot of people with YouTube videos where I think you drive an 18-wheeler, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I've seen some cats making YouTube videos about driving a box truck,
Right.
which is a lot smaller, correct?
That's correct.
Can you explain how that business works and how, because I barely understood it, but it sounds like it's a lot less to invest and you can make some money doing it. So can you explain that business?
Yeah, it's very, very similar. Because at the end of the day, to simplify it, if a shipper has a load, right? Let's say the load is not that big. It don't require a big 53-foot dry van trailer. It don't require a big semi truck to pull it. If a shipper has a load they need to get from point A to point B, and they have a smaller, shipment, they can haul it in a box truck. And it's the same scenario. The box truck would show up to the shipper, they would load it onto the truck, and then the smaller box truck would take it to the receiver, and then they will unload it, and then they would get paid. So it's very similar because you can start an operating authority with a box truck and book your own loads the same way like an 18-wheeler would do, or or a flatbed, or any other type of truck styles that are out there. That's all the same. The reason why box trucks is becoming more and more popular is because you don't need a CDL to drive those.
Okay.
So if you're operating a truck that's less than 26,000 pounds, box truck, it doesn't require a CDL, and you can start an authority and everything with that box truck. So you will still be operating, within the guidelines of, the DOT, the Department of Transportation. You still have to follow their rules and stuff like that. But you can operate that truck. You can pick up loads, deliver loads, so long as under 26,000 pounds without a CDL. So people are finding that as an easy way to start a trucking business and don't have to go through the rigorous process of getting a CDL and going to trucking school and doing all these other things. So they want to skip that step and feel like, you know what, I can make money without having to do all that. Then that's the route that I want to go.
Wow. Is there any difference between the two? Is there a difference between? I mean, well, I know there's a difference, but I mean, is there money wise? Is there a big difference between box trucking and semi hauling?
I think so. I think it's a huge difference, but people are willing to sacrifice that to be their own boss.
Right.
Some people are willing to sacrifice that because, like I'm my own. Kind of like they kind of like have the same mindset of having their own thing, or they have the mindset of they're going to have multiple box trucks. They're not going to be driving forever. They're going to get multiple ones and put drivers in them and start a whole business doing it.
Okay.
And then they can do that whole thing without having to go to trucking school. Now, at some points that, just by talking with certain people, they get ahead of themselves with it. They do want to skip steps. I get it. Everybody want to take the easy road, but
right.
It's definitely going to be up to the individual on whether or not that's going to work out. But when it comes to the money, I do think with box trucks, you're going to have to work a little harder unless, it's other ways to do it because, like, for example, they can get like a contract. They can get a direct contract with the shipper or whatever and get paid more and all this other stuff. But that's not going to happen for everybody. The majority of us who do that is going to have to get out there and get on the load board and really grind it out and make sure their business, because they have to follow the same thing. As far as when your business start, they have to wait 30, 60, 90 days before somebody work with them and stuff like that. And the insurance and stuff like that can get expensive. So, but when it comes to the box truck, I do think it's less money, but people are willing to do it because they know that they could potentially make more money doing it. And it's probably enough to take care of their bills and do what they want to do. So at the end of the day, if they're doing their own thing and they're making money doing it and they're their own boss,
right,
they'll take that too. So
now, brother, I heard you say the word load board. What is a load board?
The load board is basically when you have your own authority. Like I said, like we talked about earlier, you can work for anybody.
Right.
That's where you find those loads at. So all the shippers, all the receivers, all the brokers, and everybody that have a load that need to get from point A to point B, it's so much freight that need to get from point A to point B. It's not a lot of trucks that they know that they can get it from there to there, from point A to point B. So what they have to do is the DAT load board, for example. That's a big, huge load board that everybody use. The big time freight brokers use it. The carriers use it. Everybody uses load board. So everybody know that we can sign up, go to DAT, thatloadboard.com, and they're going to list all the loads that's going from wherever you at to wherever. So if I'm in Atlanta and I need to, well, if you don't care where you're going, if you OTR or if you're in Atlanta right now, you're trying to get back home to Chicago, you can go on that load board and look for a load specifically. Okay, this load picks up in Atlanta, it's going to Chicago. So that's what the load board is. It's basically it's a database that you can find loads going from everywhere in the country. So,
but can everybody use it, or you have to have your own authority to?
You have to have your own authority, or you run it for a company that allows you to book your own loads. But you have to have a DOT number, MC number to book loads with brokers on the load board. You have to have your own authority.
Okay. Even with a box truck?
Yep, box truck loads is on there. Everybody has to have their own authority. Or you're pulling for a company that has an authority or whatever. But if you want to book your own loads using that load board, you have to have your own trucking operating authority.
Okay. All right, well, let's get back to you, brother. So now you got your own authority, you're running your own thing. Now you're trying to figure out how you can be at home on the weekends or spend more time with your family and still run your business. How did you make that happen?
Well, came when let's look at the load board, for example. Now I have like a dedicated thing, but before, when it was just me trying to figure out how to make that happen, all I would do is do out and back. So it was kind of simple to do, because like, let's say for example, I'm in Savannah. I'll get on a load board and I see a load going from Savannah to Jacksonville, and then it's a load in Jacksonville going from Jacksonville back to Savannah. So I'll book something like that. I'll book from Savannah to Jacksonville, Jacksonville back to Savannah, and that allowed me to get home on a regular. Sometimes if I have to go out back, I'll get out there. I might stay the night and come back, or sometimes I'll get right back. And that put me at home pretty much every day. And
Okay.
and then once I did that, and once my authority got established to where now I'm past the 6-month mark. I'm past the year and 6 months mark when my DOT is not considered no entrant no more and all this stuff. That's when the big time people come, and they're paying you great money to go right down the road 50 and 60 miles. They'll pay you $1,000 to go to Baxley or something, and that's like only 60 miles away. And you can drop that off and go back home. So those are the type of opportunities start to open up once you start to get more established in the business. And then that way, thinking about it, you'll be like, you know what? I can get another truck and have several trucks doing the same thing. And that's where the scaling begins.
Okay. Are you thinking about scaling up like that, or?
I will. Right now I'm working on another truck, but like, with the market right now, I've been searching for trucks and trailers, but truck prices is kind of hot right now. But I'm definitely scaling to 5 trucks. It's going to be probably the max. And then because I'm not going to be really running the trucks myself, and like I said, I like freedom, so I'm not going to be the one that's going to be everyday operational with these other trucks. I am. This is something that I'm gonna say right here with you that I haven't told anybody, but I am starting a program for people that are trying to get their own truck. So how this program is really going to work is a lot of people don't have the, let's say their credit ain't the best or whatever their situation is. Kind of like how what I was doing with Rosedale, like how I was leasing the truck for them. If you come, if I put you in one of those trucks and you stay and you run that truck for 3 years, you will own that truck outright. And that way it works out for all of us. I made money with you working with me. You made money working with me, and you got a truck at the end of the deal. And you can continue to stay and work and run with me, or you can take your truck and run and start your own authority. It'll be totally up to you. So that is something that I'm looking into starting for, for some good people that are definitely want to, get ahead and, in a pretty decent people, that would just trying to find a way, I'm about to put something like that together to help people, get out there and start getting their own thing going as well. Because I'm not the type that's going to want you to just keep stay working for me forever. And then, I want to see you grow. I want to see you move on and get your own and build your own and, do what it is that you want to do in the trucking business. So,
man, that sounds sweet, man. I hope you let us know, man, when you get that together, brother.
Yes, sir.
What kind of person? Because I know in a lot of jobs, man, it takes a particular type of person to do the particular type of job.
Right.
What kind of person do you think would be a good person to do this over the road 18-wheeling driving?
The perfect person for it is somebody that is very ambitious and somebody that's not so fixated on being home. Because I do feel like, if the single me with no kids, I would get out there and because I did the pros about being over the road is I was able to see a lot of different cities, a lot of different states, beautiful cities. I was able to see the mountains, I was able to be down in Denver, Colorado and see all these big mountains and stuff. And that was very interesting to see. I was like, this is amazing. It's beautiful out here, right? So the perfect person would be somebody that don't have, financial obligations. I feel like a lot of people that, if you're going through something right now, you can't find your way, you're struggling, you don't have no bills, no real hardcore obligations that you need to be so stuck to one particular place, you can get out there in a truck because that's going to give you a place to stay. That's going to give you can stop at the TAs, like I say, which is a travel center, and take showers, and you can really be out there making money, have a place to stay, and all that all at one in the same time. So that's the perfect person to me. Like if you really don't have or anybody that can make that sacrifice to be able to get out there and find a way and pay for their family and take care of their kids that way, because ultimately sometimes it is a sacrifice, and people really do turn to trucking for that, because it's kind of like everybody wants a driver. All these trucking companies, they need drivers, want drivers. So if you got a good driving record, hell, sometimes if you don't have a good driving record, you can have a criminal record sometimes, and that's how desperately people want drivers, right? So it's definitely a way that you can get your foot in the door to start a business or to be able to take care of your family. So those are the people, to me, would be perfect people to get into it, because it's kind of like, it's not hard to get into, but if you keep your record clean, stay safe, it can definitely turn into something very positive for you, if you ain't had nothing going for yourself to begin with.
Man, that's a beautiful thing, man. That is a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now you got your own thing, and you're able to work yourself to be where you can be home.
Mm-hmm.
The money's better. You can be home, and now you're able to actually do your business. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's get into why you started a YouTube page. Can we get into that?
Yeah. Like I
Okay.
said, the YouTube channel has always been there. I was always doing YouTube even before trucking. Like if you scroll down there, the videos are still on there. If you scroll down all the way from till 8 years ago, you will see that I was always doing YouTube videos.
Okay.
Some of them not so kid friendly and stuff like that, but
Right.
but it kind of turned into this after I went to trucking school and stuff like that. Like I said, I was doing YouTube already, and I didn't want to give up YouTube. I had always enjoyed making videos and stuff like that. So
Right.
being that I was over the road, I didn't have nothing else to talk about but my experience, but trucking and stuff like that. And then from that point, it turned into, okay, it's a lot of lies being told. It's a lot of people wanting to withhold or sell people information that's trying to figure stuff out,
Okay.
So it turned into me, if it was something that I knew somebody was asking me about it, I started doing videos about it. And then I was like, I can make videos about this. And then everything that I started to experience with building from the point that I was at, you can literally go to my channel and see where I started and in between, and then I started talking about how to build business credit and all that stuff, because all that stuff started to play a part into people that really wanted to do it for real and start a whole business, a whole empire that's based off of trucking, because it can branch into all different other type of stuff. Some people, I know a lot of friends that take trucking and they use the income from trucking and branch it off into real estate, because you can now you have that base, you're making enough money to start investing and stuff like that. So people who go into it with a real plan, they can really find themselves with a good opportunity to branch off into other stuff. And then I started making videos about business credit, and I like, they saw me buy a new car, business, show them how to do it, with the business, all this different type of stuff like that. And the channel just kind of like over the last year or 2 years kind of evolved into what it is today, being pretty predominantly just based off of trucking and business videos. So
Yeah, man. That's good. And how has your audience received that, man? Were they happy with you with that transition?
yeah, I think a lot of the audience is new, and they're there for that. I'm pretty sure they don't remember none of the stuff that I've been doing before the trucking videos. So a lot of my audience is new, and they're new, and they're active because they're following pretty much the steps that I took. And for me, it's so good to see that when people follow the steps that I took and it works out for them too. It's very awesome to see that, because I
Yeah.
try to put it to where, I know it's not 100%, but you got a good chance if you take the steps that I took, because I put it out there, step, and it's not really step one, step two. Just to follow that first step, go to school, get your CDL, get your experience, right? Buy a truck, lease a truck, whatever. Put yourself into position to, if your goal is to get your authority, you will know exactly the steps to take to get there. So
Right.
it's always good to see. But yeah, they pretty much knew, but they love it. They love it. So
Right.
all pretty much positive comments. You get those here and there, whatever. And the
Right.
good thing about that is that the people that watch the channel, they're going to defend that. They see someone say some out the way stuff, know what type of person that I am. I never asked anybody for a dime for any information. That goes a long way, and it's very respected, from the people that watch my channel. They respect that, and I respect them too. So
Yeah, man, because I saw your channel, man, and I said, man, this dude got a lot of good information, man. I'm like, man, how come he ain't. But then I go and I look at the channels with all the drama, and I'm like, they the ones with all the views and all of the subscribers. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
I'm like,
and me, I stay away from that. People. Yeah. I've seen people talk about me on their channel for what reason?
Really?
Yeah, they would say stuff like, before I got to where I'm at, they was, like I say, they were one of the ones saying that I'm not a real owner operator, or when I was leasing a truck, they'll say stuff like, that ain't your truck, you're leasing, you're a lease operator, and all this, just crazy stuff. And I never really, I never respond to any of that stuff, and I never get on my channel and talk about all the lies that I be hearing being told on other people's channel. I see it sometimes because it's on it's on your algorithm. So you scroll it and you can see it. You might click on it and watch it. You got people telling you how to do things that they never experienced before themselves.
Right.
Everything that I do, all the information that I give, even when it comes to people who ask me about fuel cards or who the best company to go for this and that. All these people is people that I've dealt with personally that I share. I don't share information that I heard from somebody else or whatever. If I do, I'll tell you. I'll be like, I don't know, but I heard, these people do this and that. I don't know personally, so you can try it or do your research, but I don't know. But I like to definitely give information that I know that's going to work out for people. I definitely pass that information along to help people get to where they want to go. So
yeah, man, and it comes across, man. It really comes across very sincerely. That's what drew me to it. I said, man, this brother, very sincere brother, man, just trying to help who we can, you know what I mean? So we appreciate that, man. I got a few more questions for you, brother, because I know you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But one question I've been holding back for a couple of minutes was I kept forgetting, and it was coming back to me. Now, when you out there, man, and you have the part of the cabin where you can sleep in it.
Mm-hmm.
Which would you prefer? Would you prefer the hotel room, or would you sleep in the cab? How would you do that? How would you work that out on the days that you were out there overnight?
Every now and then a hotel is nice, to relax. But I only typically did that if I'm doing like a reset and I knew that I was going to be stuck or shut down in the city for a couple of days. I might do it.
What's a reset?
A reset, so basically the DOT has regulations on the amount of time that you can drive, right? So you can't drive no more than 70 hours a week. So, well, not drive, work, basically. You can't drive no more than 11 hours a day. That's it. So they have regulations. So once you're about to get to that point, you have to actually park your truck, and you can't work for 32 hours, 36 hours, like something like that.
Wow.
So that's called a reset. I haven't done one in so long, I forgot exactly how many hours it is. So they're probably gonna get on to me about that. Like, you don't need to know how many hours to reset. Trust me, I don't do that no more. So I don't forgot how many hours it is, but you have to. I kind of like really want to look it up just so I can get it right. But you have to stay parked and you can't drive or work until your hours come back and you're able to start your shift again. So basically they basically make you shut down and take a break. They
Right.
make you take a break. You have to take a break. So if you're on one of those breaks to where you can't just stay one night, you're gonna have to stay for 2 nights or something like that. Then I get a hotel. But see, my truck has always been clean and comfortable, so I have everything on there. I had TV, internet, Xbox, all whatever on my truck. So I'll stay on my truck with no problem. So
Okay.
mhm.
And of course, you save money doing that, right? Instead of getting
Yeah,
towed.
of course you're saving money. Yeah, and then you can go into, like I say, if you do this break at like a TA or a Love's or one of the travel centers, you can get out the truck, go in, get you something to eat, take a shower, come back to your truck, and get you some rest.
Okay.
Yeah, and that won't cost you no money, except for getting yourself something to eat. But that's pretty much it.
All right. Now let's talk about driving on the ice, brother.
Yeah.
Now I know you said you have some experience with doing that. Now,
Yeah.
How scary is that going up the side of a mountain with ice on it with a load, brother? How I mean,
It's very, very scary, frustrating, stressful, because not only is you worrying about yourself, you got all these other people that never drove before around you. They can cause an accident. They can put you in an
right,
accident situation. And so it's one of those things that you got to be very cautious with, and it's very nerve wracking, man. People will honk their horn at me for miles because I'm doing 10 miles an hour. I'm doing 10 miles. I ain't going no faster until I get
right,
down this mountain.
right.
But it's definitely something that if you are over the road, you need to work on that and pay attention, and definitely don't let nobody run you off the road because they trying to go fast around you. I was able to keep that type of situation as safe as I possibly could by just going slow. I didn't go fast, especially coming down those mountains. You know, I drove manual. We got automatic trucks now, and people are pretty much driving automatics. But
Right.
the manual trucks, if they get out of gear, they can roll down that mountain. You ain't got no control. So stuff like that, it's a very scary thing, and it's definitely something that everybody needs to take serious if they're out there in the wintertime doing OCR, so over the road.
Now, when you say you on the mountains, brother, now I know a lot of times they'll say they will have you guys put those chains on your tires.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever have to do that? And
Yeah, fortunately, my time in the winter, because I haven't done winter over in like Wyoming and all of those type of places. I haven't done that since trucking school.
right.
I don't go over there at all. So, but I don't go over there at all. But when I did, at that time I had a partner, so we kind of helped each other get it done. But I can only imagine one person trying to get out there and put chains on tires, because the interstate police or whatever, they'll make you pull over and put those chains on there. So they got like designated areas to where you have to pull off and legit get out there and chain every single, except for the steers, every single drive tire on that truck and trailer, to be able to get through those times. But and then you can't drive that fast with them on either. Like it's definitely was an experience. I'm glad I did get to go through that and go and get that experience and do that, because it really gave me a level of respect for trucking, especially people who are willing to drive over there, because at the end of the day, those loads do have to get over there. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
In any season, because you got reefer trailers. A reefer trailer is basically the refrigerated ones, the refrigerated freight. So people need their food and stuff like that that's refrigerated, and it has to go through Wyoming. It has to go through 80. It has to get up there some type of way,
Right.
no matter what the weather is. So that gave me a huge level of respect for the drivers that still able and are willing to drive it up through there. So I'm definitely glad that I was able to experience that, and salute to all the drivers that put themselves in that situation to make sure that freight get over there. So
yeah, man. You looking back on it, man. Looking back on it, is there some things that you would do differently, or did it pretty much work out the way you wanted it to work out, or to make it happen faster?
I don't think there's nothing that I could have done to make it work faster. I don't believe. Maybe I could have, did some things differently, but I think that things went the way that they were supposed to because I took the steps. I didn't try to skip any steps. I went to trucking school. I didn't try to, get around going to an actual school, or I didn't. Some say that I could have went to I would have made more money if I would have went to Prime. So I hear nothing but good things about the Prime trucking program. So, but I don't personally know about Prime to say, hey, if you want to start trucking school, go to Prime, but they say Prime is the best school and all this stuff. But so if one thing it would be, they was like, I could have went to a better trucking school, but I felt like the trucking school that I went gave me the necessary tools that I needed and the training that I needed. And I've been able to learn things on my own, get the experiences that I needed to put myself into the position I'm at today. So I'm cool with it. I don't think I'd do nothing differently. All the experience, everything that I've experienced, everything that I went through to get to where I'm at, I think it was well needed for me to see and understand and have a certain level of respect for trucking in general, all types of trucking. And if I would have just went to a school that didn't go over there, a school that was just southeast bound and all this stuff, I wouldn't have been able to experience the store and none of that stuff. And so I take it the way it came.
Right on. Right on, man. Right on. Okay, so let's go through the steps of how to get to where you're at. Let's go through the steps. So after you made the decision, I'm going to go to trucking school.
Okay.
What happened? How did you decide what trucking school you went to, and how did you decide on that?
Okay. So I wasn't cloudy when it came to trucking school because, like I said, I only called one school. I didn't do no research. I called. Well, like I said, I was supposed to go to trucking school sooner, but I didn't want to go because I had my son. So I had already reached out to CR England and had spoke with them. And when I did make the decision, okay, I'm about to go ahead and go, I just called them back. And they immediately, so they was like, okay, well, go to the DMV and get your CDL permit, your learner's license for trucking CDL. Right. So I did that. That's just a test you have to pass, right?
Right.
So I passed that test. Now I have my actual learner's license for the CDL. And then I called them back. They put me on. They said, okay, we about to book you a Greyhound bus, and we about to get you on out here. This literally happened probably within the first 2 weeks. I was out of there, and that was good too because it didn't give me a chance to back out. You know what? They want me to go away to Salt Lake City, and then they did it on purpose too because they actually have a school in Atlanta that I could have went to, and I probably could have. They're the type of company, they know people would try to dip on them and go home.
Right.
That would have been too close because I could have found my way home from Atlanta. So they're like, no, we about to send him to Utah. But yeah, if you want to pick a trucking school, people do have the option. So I'm gonna say this because someone said that I'm telling people wrong because I told them that my best way or preferable way is to go to school. But people don't want to owe money. So if you want to go to a technical college to get your CDL and then find a company to work for, because they want to do that way because they don't have the contract, right? So they don't have to work. They can go to any trucking school that they want to, and they don't have to work for that company if it ain't working out. So they would prefer that. So that's the first step. The first step is to, I guess, decide how you want to obtain your CDL versus if it's going to a technical college to get it, or you want to find you a decent company that you want to work for. Because if you go to a trucking company that has a school, they're going to put you in a contract.
Right.
Some of these contracts be 9 months. I think they all a year now. I don't even think CR England do 9 months anymore. I think it's a year now. Someone told me that. Some of them is years. Some of them are 1 year, 6 months. So, figure out that first. I would say since I really didn't do no research, I would say pick a company that's kind of close by your house. If you want to have home time, if home time and stuff like that is important to you, pick a company that's going to make an effort to send you home for the holidays or give you a break or try to get you home, after a couple months or whatever to spend time with your family. Find a good company that's going to work out for you. Or if you want to go to Prime, I'm pretty sure people heard about Prime. CR England. CR England is tough, but they kind of accept anybody that want to start truck. So a lot of the big companies, they are real pick out who they hire as a driver. I'm pretty sure you can go to CR England and you can get your start over there real easy. So, but that's the first step, I would say.
Okay, so that's how that's number one, getting your CDL license, picking a school that'll help you get your CDL license. And CDL is, what is a CDL, sir?
Yeah, a CDL, a Class A.
Okay.
A Class A CDL is basically that allows you to operate a commercial vehicle that's over 26,000 pounds.
Okay.
You have to have a Class A CDL license. The Class A CDL license, you can drive anything. Tractor trailers, school buses. Some of those commercial vehicles don't require a Class A because it's smaller. Let's say it's like a box truck.
Okay.
If it's a box truck that's over 26,000, you can just get a Class B and drive that. So those are just the different technicalities of it. But in order to drive and operate a commercial 18-wheeler vehicle, you have to get a Class A CDL driver's license, which is a commercial driver's license.
Okay. So now, once you get your commercial driver's license, the next step is finding a place to work, or let's say you come. Oh, go ahead, brother.
Well, if you went to the school, you're going to work for them. So that's why I chose that, because after I passed the CDL test, I was already guaranteed to work with CR England. So I already had a job. I didn't have to go to school, get my CDL, and then go find a job or a company. They do everything in one. They help you get your CDL driver's license. They help you take the test. They're the ones that's actually testing you, and they just send the test results to the DMV, and then you go pick up your CDL. So they literally do everything. They do every single thing there, and then after you pass that, you work for them. So now I already have a job. I have my CDL. Already have a job. Now I can get to getting experience and training immediately after I get my CDL.
Okay, so first you got to get your CDL. Then after you get your CDL, and you, like you said, if you go to a company and you go through a company to like you did, they're gonna pay for everything. They're gonna take care of everything. So you already have a job waiting for you. But if you go through the technical school, you're probably gonna have to go find a job or whatever, or find a company that's gonna hire you.
That's absolutely correct. That's correct. Yep.
Okay. So after you working with a company, what next? Do you have to like load up a certain amount of hours, or
no? It's just a waiting game. So at that point, you should really just be focusing on your credit. If you should be focused on working on your credit, you can go ahead and start the business if you want to. You can start an LLC if you already know what your company name want to be and all this stuff. Because now, if you do that, that's one thing that I wish I would have done. That you asked me earlier. If I would have done that, then I would have been more established. But let's see, what your main focus need to really be is training. You know what I'm saying? Becoming a good driver. Get the experience that you need, because none of these other companies is going to hire you anyway if you have less than 1 year experience. You still going to be considered brand new. So you might as well just stay there, train, learn the business, learn how to drive, and get the experience that you need at least 1 year minimum. I recommend 2 years because with insurance purposes for your authority, they're going to want to see 2 years. So I recommend just stay out there, learn how to drive for 2 years, before you decide to make that step. That way you won't have any roadblocks. But definitely for that first year, minimum first year, learn how to drive that truck and learn the business and work on your credit. That way you will put yourself in a good position when you're ready to move forward to the next step.
Okay, so so you saying get your LLC? Like, should you get your LLC right after you get your CDL, or wait a minute, or what should you do?
You can wait, or you can get it. That's another thing that's up to the individual. Like, if you want to go ahead and start your business because that's what you want to do.
Okay.
Some people, everybody don't want to have their own authority or a trucking company. Some people just want to be company drivers for forever or whatever. That's fine, because a good company, they pay, right? You can go wherever they tell you to go. They got medical and dental benefits.
Right.
They got retirement plans. So some people do just stay company, and retire.
Okay.
So, but if your goal is to start your own business and stuff like that, then it probably is a good idea to start at least, putting together from when you want to start your business. Like if you say, hey, I'm gonna stay out here and I'm gonna get my experience for 2 years, then and the name of your trucking company and all that, you could go ahead and get that started right there. Because what's going to happen is once that 2 years pass and you go to apply for stuff, it's going to say, oh, well, this company been in business for 2 years.
Right.
Even though, so that's a game changer, because now you have an established business that you can already have. Once you really get out there to start getting your own trucks and all that, you already have an established business.
Right. Okay, so after you get your CDL and you get the experience, let's say, like you said, you get the 2 years under your belt, what should you be looking to do next?
I would play it safe still. What I would do, I would say this: after the first year, right, and you feel like you want to step your foot out there a little bit, I would say, let's say you've been working on your credit and you're able to buy yourself a truck after the first year. What you would do is you would go to the dealership, or however you decide, because some people go to the auctions, whatever you're comfortable with. I recommend going to a dealership because you don't want any problems with that truck. You want something with a warranty, something that's going to last for you. That's what I would do. And I would take that truck and I would lease it on to a good company. I would that first year, because now I have a year experience. I'm buy me a truck. I would lease that truck on to a good company, and that way you're going to be making real good money. Some people, like I do have one that you can go to. That's Landstar. If I recommend any company to go to that you want to lease a truck onto, especially if you're doing dry van or flatbed specifically, go to Landstar, because they're going to show you everything. They're very transparent, and you're going to make real good money running for them. You probably won't even want to do your own authority if you work with them, unless you really want that freedom, because they're good. They're really good. But at that time, I would lease my truck on to the company under my company name, right? So now your business will start to make money, right?
Okay.
Your business will start making money. You're working on paying off your truck if you want, if you plan on keeping it for the long term, and you can get your business cards, fuel cards, and all of this stuff. Now you're really setting the foundation to go to the next step. You can start the business, start building business credit, get business fuel cards, get your tags and plates in your truck's name on your truck from your base state. Now that truck, when you get ready to move it over to your own authority, it's all done. You already done all the groundwork. So you would do that for the next year. So now Now you've done that. Now you've been leased on for 1 year. Now you have 2 years of driving experience, and you'll be able to go out there and apply for authority and get a decent insurance quote. This is
Okay.
going to be the biggest factor. If you do it that way, you'll be able to get a good insurance quote, and you will be able to start your own trucking authority without having no problems, and you'll have everything already else established. So,
Okay. So now you saying get the CDL, get the experience, do 2 years, and then we're assuming that the person wants to start their own business, right? How to, like you said, how to freedom and everything. After you get the experience and everything, you said work on your credit, and while you're getting the experience in the driving a truck for another company, you still should be working on building your credit, paying off debt, or whatever you can do. Then from there, once you realize, okay, I got the 2 years experience, I built up my company, I got my LLC, I got my own company name. What do I do from here as far as a truck?
Okay, so that goes back to because we didn't really elaborate on what I mean by working on your credit. Okay. What I mean by that is get accounts, like, you know, get more credit card accounts. Now, you got to be very careful with this. You have to be very disciplined. Credit cards will make or break you. So you would apply for credit cards, right? And once you get approved, you use them and you pay them back. I use my credit cards for things like when I was out on the road and I was hungry and wanted food, you know, I use my credit cards for those things that I needed, my essential things, and I would pay the money right back. I never carried a balance on my credit card. If you do carry a balance sometimes, make sure you don't get out of control to where you can't pay those off, because this is going to be a key thing. But you want to have multiple credit card accounts. Like I would say at least 5.
Okay.
Because that's gonna help your credit score a lot. And then when you go to apply for a truck, they see that you have accounts that you pay that are in good standing and things like that. See, me, I already was kind of a little bit already established because I had a car payment, you know, and I had other credit cards already. So those accounts right there helps a lot. If you can get like a small loan, you need accounts that you are paying on and that you have in good standing. You need credit cards that you're not paying over 30, that you don't have over 30% of your credit card utilization. You need those things to establish the right credit profile to where it won't be no problem when you go buy your first truck. It'll be easy. At that point, it's similar to buying a car. And then, you know, you walk into the dealership, you don't even have, they're not going to ask you nothing about no job or nothing. They're just going to look at your credit profile. Where you going to lease the truck onto? I'm taking it over here. Okay. When I bought my truck, it went very, very easy. That's why I say work on your credit while you're in school, while you're getting training, while you're doing all this stuff. Put yourself into that position to when you face this opportunity to buy that truck, you know, you'll have the confidence to know that you can purchase that truck and then take that truck and lease it on and start making money immediately with that truck. Because if you buy a truck, it's no company that you can't go to. You can go to any company that you want and lease that truck onto them. That's why I recommend Landstar, because they're going to take you ASAP. And you will be able to start making money immediately. You know, it's no waiting process. You don't have to wait and see if you're going to get approved. You don't have to wait and see if they're going to hire you or not. Or you don't have to wait for any of that stuff. They're going to hire you. They're going to want you. It's going to be no question about it.
Man. Okay, so after we get the CDL, after we get the experience, and we get our credit together, now we go in to buy a truck, right? Okay, so now we say, okay, this is what I was working all to do, spend all this time for, to now start my own business, right? So you go in to buy your truck. Now, do you recommend buying a used truck or a new truck, or what do you recommend?
I think you should start with a used truck because the payments on those is gonna be more manageable. So
Okay.
you can buy you a decent, good used truck.
Okay.
Because you want to start making money immediately. You don't want to jump out there with your overhead too high because those new trucks are $100,000 plus. You
Whoa.
know, so they cost. If we're talking about the semi truck, if you a CDL driver, that's another reason people go to box trucks because they're much cheaper. Um,
Right.
but if you are in the semi truck, you want to drive 18 wheelers, Class A CDL. Those trucks are $100,000 brand new. So the more affordable way to do it is to purchase a good used pre-owned truck.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And you suggest going to the dealer for that.
Yeah, go to the dealership and get warranty up to the first year because the reason why you do that is because you want to make sure that anything that happens with that truck within that first year will be covered. That allows you to keep your overhead um, kind of like at where you need it to be. Because if you get into expensive repairs and stuff like that, then that
Right.
can make or break your trucking company. But if you
Right.
set the right foundation to where you got, a good credit profile and stuff like that, you're going to be fine, and you'll be able to make it through these times that if something did happen to that truck, you had warranty on it. It didn't hurt your business. You could
Right.
take that truck to the dealership, get it fixed, and then get right back out there on that road
Right.
and have that truck making money for you. And then, of course, if you bought a truck from the dealership, it's not going to be a whole lot of problems right up front with the truck because if you bought it from a reputable dealer, they made sure that they did all the things necessary to the truck
Right.
to where that truck is going to last you for a little while before you actually have to start putting money into repairs and things like that. So that's why I recommend getting the truck from the dealership so you can at least run a full year, get full year income coming in to start gaining and building capital on your business to where you won't have to be doing repairs immediately as soon as you buy one of these trucks. So
Right. Right.
or come out of pocket for it. If you got the warranty on it, you won't have to worry about coming out of pocket for repairs within that first year. You're able to work that whole year without having those expenses.
Okay. So after you get a truck, now I got all the experience. I got the credit. I went out and actually bought a truck. Now what
Mhm.
do I do? Now what do I
I'm,
do?
I'm gonna take that truck and I'm gonna lease it on to a carrier.
Now what
Um,
exactly does that mean? I lease it onto a carrier. What exactly
so,
does that mean?
so like I said earlier, before the difference between having your own authority and leasing it onto a carrier, I'm gonna take that truck to a carrier and run their freight for them.
Okay.
So basically,
Only
it's a yeah, only.
like
It's
when
a
you say
lease
you
agreement.
leasing it, lease
Mhm.
agreement, you're saying that you can only run freight for that particular company. Okay.
Right. That's what
Okay.
that lease agreement means. That's what I mean by
Okay.
leasing on. So I'm going to lease on to a good carrier because I don't have to worry about being brand new. I don't have to worry about none of this stuff. I can lease on with them saying I'm going to pull their freight. They're going to have all the loads for me. They're going to show me what loads they have, what loads I can run, and I'm gonna get a solid paycheck every single week. You
Right.
know, and this is within we this is talking about assuming that you buy your truck after if you did what I did and you buy your truck within having your CDL for the first year. After the first year you got 1 year experience,
Okay.
so the next year when I'm on my second year we're going to buy the truck and then we're going to lease it on to a carrier and we're going to pull their loads for them. They're going to be able to put down or put up the insurance money, because like right now if I tried to do it right now I wouldn't be able to afford the insurance for my
Right.
authority because they're going to want 15,000 down. They're going to want all this, they're going to want you to pay $4,000 a month for insurance. So we don't want to do that. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to get at least 2 years of experience. So within my second year, while I'm in my second year, we got the truck. I'm going to lease it on to a carrier. Let's say I lease it on to Landstar. I'm pulling Landstar loads, right? Landstar is going
Right.
to they're going to put the insurance on my truck. Of course, it's not free. They're going to take, I don't know what it costs. It maybe cost you a couple $100 a week. Not nearly as 15,000 down, nothing
Right.
ridiculous like that. But they're going to even put the tags on the plate, on the top tags on the plate. They're going to even put the tags on the truck for you which is going to be under them. Everything is going to be under them, but you're able to, that truck that you just bought, you're able to run that truck, make money, pull loads. You're going to be able to make that truck payment, take care of your family. You're going to be able to pay all your bills and make money, right? So now my truck is getting paid for. I'm making decent money, and now I'm saving. I'm putting money because my goal is to get my own authority. So I'm saving my money. I'm making good money. I'm living life. Don't stop living life and taking care of your family and going on trips. So you want to be able to do something. You want to be able to be working with it. That's why I would lease it onto a good company, because I'm gonna be home. I'm gonna be home a couple nights a week. I'm gonna be home on the weekends if I choose to. But some people, they grind. They'll get out there and stay out for 1 month, 2 months at a time. And those are the ones that's gonna make $100,000 leased onto a carrier. So you're going to be making good money, because you got your own truck and you're going to be making good money. Now, this should definitely put you in a position to, when you done crossed over that 2-year mark, you have some good money saved to say, you know what, I want to go ahead and pay my truck off. That way, I don't have a truck payment no more. I want to put down a down payment on my authority. I want to start my authority. I want to start doing my own thing. And then when you go get an insurance quote, it'll be a very manageable down payment. It'll be a very manageable monthly payment for you to start off with the least expense as far as insurance and overhead as possible when you start off having your own authority and stuff like that. So
yeah, man. Quick question, man. When you drop off a load or pick up a load, are you involved in the actual loading of the back of the truck? Are you actually involved in that? Like, how those guys drive those little forklifts and they load the truck? Are you doing any of that?
No, that's why I do dry van, because all I do is when I go to the shipper to get this load, I back the truck up to the door and I be in my truck like this. and then when they get done, well, I get out to open the doors, of course, and then when they get done, I pull up, close the doors, and then I get in and take it where it goes. I don't load the truck or nothing. So half the time I'm in the truck waiting, I wait for them to load it, which what I do now, an hour at the most. They load it up, I take it where it go, and I wait for them to unload it, and then I'm done. And then I do it all over again.
Okay. Man. Okay, so now we got the truck and we lease it onto a company. Now you say we should stay leased on there for about what, 2 years, 3 years?
About a year.
A year.
Depending on when you started. Let's say it just depending on when you started. Because you can, let's say I've been with the company for a year and 6 months, and then I decided to get a truck. You can stay leased on for 6 months. I think the sweet spot is 2 years of driving experience. So it really don't matter if you got the truck and was leased on for 2 months. It really just depends on, let's say you was with a company and you got 2 years experience. Even if you say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna stay company driver for 2 years, and then I'm gonna go get a truck and just go straight to my authority. You can do it that way. But I think with the leasing onto the carrier part, that allows you to already have the truck, already been making money with the truck, already done paid the balance down on the truck some, and then that'll make that transition smoother. But it's no right or this part is really no right or wrong way. The only part that I think that's key is having at least 2 years of driving experience for you can have a manageable insurance quote if you decide to get your authority.
Okay. So when you're doing it, you just was saying that's an option to make sure you have steady work and you can pay that truck note every month. Okay.
I feel like that's an easy way. That's an easy way.
Yeah,
or it may be easy for you to do it the other way, but it's an option. That's the thing. You buy your truck, you got options. You can do it the leased on way, or you can go straight to the authority. That's an option too. It's definitely an option.
Okay, now I want to talk about this authority. What exactly is an authority? How do we get it? And what is it used for? And what's the purpose of it?
Okay. The authority, the purpose, the sole purpose for it is that the DOT can regulate you and recognize you as a carrier. You have the authority to move freight on U.S. highways from point A to point B. Because if something happens out there, they got to hold somebody accountable for that.
Right.
So that's why they want you to have your own authority. That's why you have to apply on the FMCSA website, which is the DOT website for you to, be granted a trucking authority. It's just a regulation. They regulate that. They regulate these 18-wheelers operating on U.S. highways. So something happens, they want somebody to blame. They want somebody to be responsible for everything that goes out there, and they want a company to be responsible for that. So in order to be out there legally driving, because they have their own police too. They have their own police. They have their own the DOT. They got their own police out there policing trucks on these roads. So you go on the FMCSA website and you apply for operating authority, and you have to apply for it, and you have to get the insurance. So the only things that it takes for you to get an authority is, for one, you got to apply. It's about $300 to apply. You have to get a BOC3, which is a blanket of coverage. All that is, if I'm based out of Georgia and I'm in California and something happens, they enter my trucking business information into a registry that they will be able to locate me if I got into an accident, and they can saw my business name, they can look up that business name, they can see that I'm registered truck driver and all this. They'll be able to find me anywhere. You can't run off and hide. Right. So that's a one-time thing. You have to have a third party to register your company for that. And then the UCR. The UCR is you have to pay for that every single year. You can do that yourself on UCR.gov. And what that is basically, that's basically a fee that they want you to pay for operating on U.S. highways. And, and for some other stuff, you got to do that per truck. And then the insurance is the most expensive thing. And you have to have minimum coverages. The minimum coverage is $750,000, but a lot of brokers don't take that. So I always tell people, just get the 1 million. So you want 1 million, you want 1 million primary auto liability coverage. What that is if you out there, you hit somebody, that's the minimum insurance package that you have to have. You have to have $1 million coverage.
Okay.
Then you have to have cargo insurance. You need $100,000 minimum cargo insurance.
Okay.
So for these two things, it can range anywhere from as little as $3,000, $2,000 down to $35,000 down. So that's where the experience plays a part.
Okay.
Right. So if you got at least 2 years experience and you had any accidents or anything like that, you can get a manageable down payment somewhere in the $3,000 to $5,000 down, and you can get somewhere between $12,000 to $2,000 a month with the insurance, which is pretty manageable. You should be able to make good money, be able to cover that every single month. If you lease, if you start your operating authority and have 2 years of experience. I know some guys, they jump out there, they've been owner operators or leased on to a carrier, or they've been company drivers for 10 years. And having that type of experience, I've seen them get down payments about $1,000, $1,500 down and $900 a month. So, which is very manageable, because you should be seeing somewhere, north of $3,000 to $4,000 a week with your own authority, minimum. So, so $1,000 insurance payment won't be too hard for you to manage at all, So but that's what an operating authority is, and that's how you get it. Some people, if you go to OOIDA, they can do it for you, but I do recommend just getting on the FMCSA website and attempt to apply for it. And if you feel like you run into some problems with getting it started, then you can reach out to somebody to get help get you help with that. But you can also reach out to the FMCSA. If you're on their website and you're applying for your trucking authority, you got questions, you can always reach out to them. That way you don't have to pay nobody to do it for you. You can just pay for the $300 and get the process started on your own. That's one thing you really don't have to pay nobody to do. So apply on the FMCSA website, get your BLC3. You can go to OIDA for that. Get the UCR at ucr.gov, and then insurance. If you need insurance, you can reach out to me. They can reach out to me through you or whatever, or they can reach out to me directly at friends@imkomos.com, and I'll definitely email you guys over some insurance recommendations. If you're in this part of the process, if you had your CDL and you're in this part of the process to where you want to start your authority and stuff like that, definitely reach out to me, and I'll get all the information that I feel that would be necessary, that you're going to need, and the services that you're going to need to get started in the right direction. So,
okay. Appreciate that, man. So after you get your trucking authority, now this opens you up to be able to work with whoever you want to. Now, let's say you do the lease, and like you said, you lease your truck with another company for another year, and now you decide, hey, man, I want to book my own loads and truck my own loads. When you say booking your own loads, is there a negotiating that you have to go through, or do you just click on the load that you got going out and click on the load you want coming in, or is there any negotiating that has to be done face to face or whatever?
No, you probably would never see these brokers face to face. You'll always talk to them on the phone. If you're using the load board to book loads, but if you use a service like Uber Freight, they have an app, and their price is the price. So if you see a load that's going from Atlanta to Jacksonville that's paying $800, you can just click on it and book it. They send you over the rate confirmation, and then you're able to go pick up that load, deliver that load, and get paid for it. If you're dealing with a broker that has a load going from Atlanta to Jacksonville, you got to call them up, say, hey, I see you got this load going from Atlanta to Jacksonville. And then they'll go into this little spiel about it. Yeah, it picks up, it weighs this amount, it's paying $800. At that point, if you feel like $800 is too low or whatever, you can say, well, I can pick it up for you for $1,000. They can say, yeah, no. A lot of times they come back with a counter offer. They'll say, they'll say, well, can you do 900? And it's up to you to be like, yeah, I'll do it for 9. So that's just, just real quick on how the negotiating works with that. But they definitely have a starting point. A lot of times too, they will ask you, hey, what can you pick this load up for me? I don't like doing that because you're going to leave a lot of money on the table, because if you give them a number, you can be like, you know what, I can do it for $1,000. When really they could have gave you $1,500. They just won.
Right.
So yeah, it is definitely a lot of negotiation involved when it comes to these loads, because the brokers are trying to get that load moved for as least as possible, and we trying to move it for as much as possible. So that's where the negotiation come into play. So
now, when you get your own authority, we talking about loads that you were talking about. You look on the load board because you have to pay for that service. I imagine, right? You have to pay for it.
It's like $35 a month, something like that.
Okay, and you're able to see
for the access.
Okay, and you're able to see which loads are going where and what time and what everything like that, right? And you can now when you click on it. You can click on it, and then that's when you get all the information. You can make the phone call, or
it gives you all that. It gives you the loads, it gives you the phone numbers, it gives you who has the load. Sometimes they'll even put the price on there, so you'll be able to see the price. But that load board, most of the time, it don't have the price because they want you to call and negotiate with them.
Okay.
So at that point, you just call them and say, hey, I can see this load or whatever, and they'll let you know what they're trying to get, what they're trying to pay to move the load, and then you can negotiate from that point. But yeah, that database, the DAT load board, is definitely it's an app too. You can download it on your phone, and you can see all the loads. You can even type in the city that you're in. You can type in the city that you want to go, and vice versa. And so if you want to narrow it down to the areas that you want to go to or pick up a load in, you can definitely do that as well. So it's a lot of tools out there for getting started that you can book your first loads and get started real easy. So
man, that sounds good, brother. That sounds good. After all that, man, do you when you look back at it, was it worth it? Was it worth all of the sacrificing that you had to go through to do it?
Absolutely. It was definitely worth it, because not only that, that I was able to um get started, be able to take care of the essentials, the things that you need. I'm able to live the lifestyle that I want. And
Okay.
at the end of the day, when it's all done, this is something that can be passed down to your family and your kids, that can take it on further, and they'll have something to build on, and they'll have a source of income already, when they get old enough to take it over. So it's definitely one of those things to where that, it can turn into a family business that can be passed down generation to generation. So, being able to take care of yourself, your family, and help for me, helping a lot of other people, that's friends or just people like you guys, along the way, to help start your own, it's going to go a long way, because it's not only helping me, it's helping friends, everybody get to where they want to go, and you're going to be able to create generational wealth that can be carried on, after you know, you leave away from here. So it's definitely been worth it. It's definitely the best decision that I made to start this type of business, because I had a lot of fun doing it, and I had a lot of experiences, things that I wouldn't even take back, that put me in a position to, have a good conversation with Clarence here, and just be able to, share my knowledge, share my experiences, and if it wasn't for me starting this, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. So it definitely was a good decision.
And I'm gonna wrap this up, brother, because I know you got
Okay.
things to do, brother. So, but I'm gonna ask you just a couple other questions. If I was 18 years old, man, and I was like, hey, man, I'm thinking about the trucking business, man, what would be the first thing you would tell me to do? What would be the first thing you tell me to do?
The first thing that I would tell you to do is, okay, well, figure out exactly what you want. Like, do you, when you go do this thing, do you need to be home every once a
Okay.
month, every twice a month, whatever? So figure that out first. If this is what you really want to do, okay, fine. But I don't know, I'm not sure, but I think you have to be 21.
Oh, okay.
Um, I think you have to be 21. I could be wrong, but I feel like, for some reason, I feel like you have to be 21 to get a CDL driver's license. I could be
Okay.
wrong, but if it is 18, whatever the age is that you can start
Right.
immediately, then definitely, if you don't have any kids or anything like that, then definitely experience getting that over the road OTR experience, because that's going to make the time go by fast, and you'll definitely put yourself in position to make good money, because most of the time 18-year-olds, you don't need an apartment or anything like that. So it's definitely a good way for you to get out there and get some experience, and be able to make some money and provide a life for yourself, that when you do decide to do other things, you'll be in a good position to do whatever it is you want to do. So the first thing I would tell you is that make sure it's definitely something you want to do, because everybody can't do it, no matter what
Right.
people may think. Everybody can't do that. Everybody can't drive a truck. So,
Right.
but definitely try it. If you feel like you're a good driver, or you got the potential to be a good driver, it's definitely something that you can try, but you're not obligated to it either. If you go to a trucking school and you can, figure out like, hey, you know what, this ain't for me, that's an option for you too. But if it's something that you at least want to try to see if it's something that you can make work for you, then I definitely think you should definitely try it for sure.
And you definitely recommend it for anybody who's open minded about being out there on the road. You definitely recommend that for them.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it for anybody that's feeling like, they don't know what they're gonna do. They don't know what they can turn to. If you don't have a lot going, and let's say you can't afford an apartment, you can't afford to live on your own, I definitely recommend it for people that don't have family or kids yet.
Right.
It's definitely the way to go to be able to make money and not have no bills. I don't know any job that you can, if you living in the city, it's nothing you can really do to where you can go to work every day and don't have an apartment or some type of living expense you have to
Right.
pay for. With trucking, you won't have any living expenses. You can
Right.
literally go to work, make money, and don't have to pay no car payment, no No rent, no light bill, none of that type of stuff. All you need is a cell phone. So,
Right.
but so for those, but if that's you, it's definitely a way for you to, get something started going for yourself, and that way, when you do decide to settle down, you'll be able to come back to a city, or you might find a new city that you like better that you would want to live in. That also, I see a lot of people being able to find their home city that they used to live in New Jersey. Now they love Florida. So stuff like that, it provides a good opportunity. You can definitely see a lot of things, learn a lot of stuff, see a lot of new things, meet a lot of new people.
Right.
It's a good thing.
All right, Corey, let me ask you the big one. This is the big question, brother.
All right.
Is it hard? Is it a hard thing to make upwards of 80, 90 G's in this business? Is it super hard?
No, not at all. You can make $100,000. You can make $80,000 a year as a company driver. You can get with a good company, and you can get all the endorsements, because you have to have endorsements for, if you want to, you be seeing the trucks that got doubles. They be having 2 trailers.
Okay.
That's an endorsement. You can get doubles endorsements. You can get hazmat endorsements where you pull in hazardous materials. Tanker, like people who do gas hauling. You got to get an endorsement for that. That's just a test you have to take, at the DMV. You pass that test, they give you that endorsement. So, for example, if you want to drive the gas trucks, that requires a tanker endorsement. So you would go to the DMV, take the test for the tanker endorsement, and they add that endorsement to your CDL, right? And those guys make $100,000 a year. So you definitely can make $100,000 a year as a company driver. You most certainly should be making $100,000 a year if you bought your own truck and leased it onto a carrier. And so you definitely should be able to make $100,000 there. But for me personally, if you want the freedom and the money, and you get your own authority, you should be able to get a multi 6-figure yearly income, with your own authority. It's definitely possible to become a millionaire with just one truck. So
that's what I was looking for, brother.
Yeah, it's definitely able. You can become a millionaire truck driver with one truck.
Right.
And I know for a fact that that's very possible. So,
right.
So if you're the scaler, if you're a big entrepreneur, you want to scale up 2, 3, 4, 5 trucks, you're gonna be a multi-millionaire for sure.
All right, brother. I know you came. You were so gracious, man. You were so gracious about, man. I mean, let me tell you about this brother. I hit the brother up, and I didn't hear from him for about a day or so. I was like, man, what's going on? Then I got a little email from him. He had his number in there. He put his personal number in there. I called him, and he said, oh, yeah, no problem, man. I'll be there, right? So I was fussing at my son this morning. I was running kind of late. I called him, and I said, hey, brother, I'm on my way to the office. He's like, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I'll be there. No problem. Brother showed up, and, man, he hit it out of the park, man. This is Brother Correy. And why don't you give us your information, brother, how they can get in touch with you, man, if they need more information?
Yeah, it's definitely hit me up if you want the information. If you are in the process, if you are in that part of the steps where you are looking to get your own authority, friends at imkomos.com, IMKOMOS.com. That's my email address. That email, if you email, it comes directly to my phone. Even though if it take me a day or so, I definitely try to get back to, pretty much everybody. Get back to you. Yeah. In my Instagram, if you want to hit me on there, it's I am Komos. And of course, YouTube is I'm Komos, IMKOMOS. You should just be able to type it in, on the search. But if a couple videos pop up, you'll definitely see my videos on there. I'm doing videos on YouTube. A lot of the stuff that we talked about today, I made videos about. But if but if you got like a more direct question, you can always find me, at my email for sure. So just let me know.
I want to let the people know, man, I couldn't get the brother to go into, every single detail about everything. I was just trying to get him to kind of cover, loosely. If you go to his page, he has more in-depth information about getting trucking authorities and building your credit and all of this stuff. He has way more in-depth information. So we would just kind of cover it to try to let you guys know that there is some big money in trucking, and you don't have to exactly work for a company. You can. My uncle did this. That's how come I know there's money in trucking, because you know, my uncle was working for Chrysler back in the 70s, and he realized, he said, man, this is he saw people them laying off more and more people, right? He said, man, they're gonna eventually get to my unit, so I need to do something. And he went out and got his trucking license, man. And I mean, the dude never looked back, man.
Right.
He never looked back, man. He was able to buy a beautiful home out here in California, many plus rental properties and everything, man. But if you looked at him, brother, if you looked at him, you would think he was just some old man that didn't know what was going on, man. You know, old school slacks and them hard shoes and a white beater. He'd come outside and, you know, just pick the weeds out of his yard. But I mean, the dude had serious cash, man. You know what I mean? So, you know, but he was, you know, old Texas dude. They wasn't about flashing their cash. I mean, you know, he's like you, brother. He would help anybody who asked him. But, you know, if you looked at him, you would think, oh, what did he know about making money? And this dude had properties all over Los Angeles, man. I mean, dude was making money, man. So I know you telling the truth when you tell it, man. But anyway, brother, appreciate you, brother Correy. My last question to you is, man, are you open to coming back, man, and you know, just having a discussion about one of the other issues or one of the other topics that maybe may come up relating to trucking, or maybe a business topic, man, you want to come up and discuss?
Oh yeah, I'll definitely come back. We can talk about pretty much anything, man. You know, I'm okay. You know, I see what's going on out there. You know, I know that I talk about trucks mainly and stuff, but you know, I got opinions and ideas and experiences with a lot of different stuff. So like, no matter what it is, if I know the answer to something, or if I experienced something before, I'm definitely open to, you know, give my opinions about it. So it's all good, man. For sure. I'll come back.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you stopping by, brother Corey. Appreciate you, man. I'm definitely gonna hit you back up, man. I appreciate you, man. Any last words before I let you go?
Man, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you guys as always for watching the videos, and I'm glad that it's helping a lot of people. And it's a lot of more videos coming. So like any topics that I come up with that I feel like is going to be helpful to you guys, I'll make sure I get it out there to you. And again, you know, that email comes directly to my phone. So friends@imcomos.com if you want to, you know, ask me something directly. And then until next time, I'll see you guys in the videos and in the comments. So see you later.
Right on. Thank you, brother Corey. Appreciate you, man. All right. That was brother Corey. What y'all think? What y'all think? What did y'all think? Did he drop it? Did he drop bombs, or did he drop bombs? That is a good brother right there. That is a good brother. In my opinion, that's a good brother. And the brother dropped a lot of knowledge. And, you know, obviously, like I said, I couldn't have him go into everything, you know what I mean? Because, you know, I was just trying to basically touch on the basic steps involved in just starting your own trucking business, and he basically gave it to you for free, you know. So but if you want the more in-depth versions of each steps that we was talking about, you can go to his page. I'm going to put it in the description, where you can go to his page, and he has actual videos going into detail about how to do all of these other things. I know, because I've been to his page. But what y'all think? Well, is brother Corey legit? Very solid brother. Very solid young brother, man. Very solid. Made a ton of money in the trucking business, and you know, trying to just share his information with us. Sometimes we need to see somebody who looks like us, or, you know, just somebody who we can relate to, that we can say, oh, you know what, if he can do it, I can do it. And basically that's his position. If you ask me, that's the way he was approaching it. Like, hey, if I can do it, you can do it. You know what I mean? I'm not doing nothing super out of this world. Just having a sense of business minded, and you know, following instructions, and being disciplined about it. the truck driving lifestyle. I mean, almost any lifestyle you live out there, you got to be disciplined, man. Discipline is going to be the thing. That's the difference between a good idea and a successful idea is discipline. You got to have discipline to hang in there when the times get tough, right? So anyway, y'all let us know what y'all want to see. And, I'm gonna definitely ask the brother to come back and talk. He has some good ideas. And if you go to his page, you'll see. And he just straight out told me, he said, man, I can talk about other stuff. I said, oh, okay, well, we'll have him back. We'll definitely have him back. What else? Oh, tomorrow, the dangers of not picking the right mate. The dangers of not picking the right mate. Most of you guys out there are dating, and you're dating with the intent of having pleasurable, casual sex. You're not dating with the intention on creating offspring. However, the offspring are the unfortunate byproduct of a lot of these hookups that are going on out here. And because they were unintended victims of the situation, they unfortunately have to deal with the craziness of the parents. We are making these children and then sending them out into the world, and they are being unsuccessful out there in their relationships because they don't know how to be in relationships because they never see good relationships. And there's a danger in, shout out to brother Daryl, shout out to Sister Don Harden, shout out to everybody in the stream that came through. But when we are out here having unprotected sex with people that are unvetted, unprotected premarital sex with people that are unvetted properly, these are the situations that come up where we're having unwanted children. This is the age of the unwanted child. Everybody wants to have sex. Nobody wants to have the children. But unfortunately, that's the situation we're in, where we got all these unwanted children. And you can tell they're unwanted because the parents are not equipped to put the time or the feeling of love into them. And so they come out here feeling unloved, and they don't care about their own life, let alone somebody else's life. So tomorrow we're going to talk about the dangers of having sex, with people that are not. And then here's a kicker. It's the science of mating. See, you got to know who you should mate with. See, if you mating with a woman that has a evil streak in her or rebelliousness in her, what do you think she gonna pass on to them children? If the woman rebels against you, then she's gonna have them children rebelling against you, and she's gonna genetically encode their genes with that rebellious streak. You don't want to mate with somebody that's rebellious with you. If you already see that they rebel against you, not a good person to mate with. Let them go mate with somebody else. We're going to talk about all that tomorrow, about mating with people that's rebellious. They have genetic markers of bad relationships. There's red flags you should be looking for, right? Red flags you should be looking for and not just women, but men too. First red flag you should be looking for is rebelliousness. When you see rebelliousness in the person that you're trying to have sex with, that is bad. Because if you happen to ring the bell and they have a child, what do you think that woman is? If that woman is rebelling against you already, saying, I'm not a wife, I'm a life partner, right? I'm not going to take your name, I'm going to hyphenate mine, right? You just see spots of rebelliousness, You don't want to procreate with somebody like that, man. You don't want to procreate with someone like that. You don't even want to have casual sex with someone because you just may ring the bell. You just may ring the bell, and then next thing you know, you got a child that's rebellious. How do you think the child will be rebellious? The child will be rebellious against you as well, right? If the woman's rebellious and the child's rebellious, what do you have in your house? Chaos, right? You have chaos in your house. And then, of course, most men deal with chaos by crutching themselves with a mistress, right? It's pretty much how it goes, right? And it just, the relationship just spirals downward from there, right? But you can avoid all that by vetting the people that you're having sex with, having casual sex with. First of all, stop having casual sex. Stop doing that. Only have sex when you are trying to be in a long-term relationship with somebody. That will shut that down. Then on top of that, you got to vet them properly. You got to look for red flags up front. The first thing you should be looking for is red flags. I don't care how beautiful this woman is. She's so beautiful. I want to have a child with her so I can have a beautiful child. Right? She's gorgeous. I want to have a child with her, right? But if you see masculine traits, which is rebelliousness, rebelling against their feminine inequality, right? That's rebelliousness. Or you tell her, hey, can you ask her, can go do something? She go, no, get it yourself, do it yourself. I'm not doing that. I don't do windows. I don't do dishes. You don't want to have a child with that, because that child's going to be rebellious too. Next thing you need to be looking for is mental illness. You need to look for mental illness. What is mental illness? Mental illness is the inability to have a normal conversation and be a normal resolve conflict normally. They have a dysfunctional way of trying to resolve conflict, and it's not, they don't even try to resolve it. What they try to do is they try to push their issue. They're not trying to, whether it's passive aggressively or aggressively, they try to push their issue, right? Are you sorry about what you did? Yeah, I'm sorry. Or you can tell they're not sorry. You know what I mean? And then you end up right back where you started from 3 weeks later, right? You got to look for this stuff. This is generic. And I got to shout out to the brother, Chaotic Truth, man. Chaotic Truth, he really said something that really opened my eyes to this, man, because he was talking about eugenics. And when you look at that, you got to look at that and say to yourself, you know what? It sounds crazy, but when it comes to the science of mating, you want to make sure that you have, what's the word I'm looking for? You want to make sure that you have, you screen somebody well, so that they won't give you a genetically a disadvantaged person in your life by giving you a child that has a rebellious streak in them, mental illness, and other issues that you're going to have to deal with. So these are red flags you have to deal with. So you see a lot of these women, and they look so good. They're so beautiful, but they have mental illness, a lot of them. They have rebellious streaks, evil streaks in them, and they have, let me take a case in point, Brittany Renner. This woman has not only an evil streak, not only a rebellious streak, but she is not that intelligent. She operates on an animalistic level, meaning, hey, you got something I want, I'm going to go get it. She communicates like an animal. But the average guy I would roll in the hay with her, right? Wrong. We got to stop we got to stop having casual sex with these women just because of their beauty appearance. The beauty appearance should be what attracts you. But before you start doing all this other stuff, you got to look into it and say to yourself, hey, man, what is going on? What is going on? But I'm going to talk about all that tomorrow. I'm going to talk about all of this stuff tomorrow. But I'm giving you guys a head start that you guys that chimed in today. I'm giving you a head start. I'm going to put Correy's information in the description. That is a good brother, man, right there. That is a good brother, man. You know what I mean? Game recognized game. That is a good brother right there. If you guys get the chance to holler at him or have him on your show, other content creators, bring the brother up, man. That's a good brother, man. That is a good brother. Anyway, y'all, I want y'all to come back tomorrow. The dangers of not checking for mental illness, not checking for evil streaks, not checking for red flags. That's the dangers of not having sex with people and not checking for red flags. That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. All right. Until then, I'll see y'all in the streams. Thank y'all for stopping by. And we'll try to do it again next Saturday. Maybe we have another guest and bring them on. All right, y'all. Peace.